significant increase income and support wealth creation. Going forward, countries that fail to digitalize their economies are likely to be uncompetitive in the emerging global digital revolution.
So the world is indeed standing on the brink of a technological revolution that will fundamentally alter the way we live, work, and relate to one another. That's according to the World Economic Forum. Now, this revolution is the age of digitalization. So is Ghana truly ready for the digital revolution? Tonight, we connect Ghanaians molding the digital space to their will to explore. We connect after the break.
Jack, your money come. That is the sweet sound of my savings when I transfer money for free from my Vodafone Cash wallet to all networks. Bro, no 1% or 1.5% charges anywhere. I say, free transfers on Vodafone Cash and Echo. Don't give small money chance. Yes, save more on every money transfer from Vodafone Cash to all networks. Sending money is absolutely free on Vodafone Cash. Send any amount of money as many times as you want to all networks and make savings for the things that really matter. Don't give small money chance. Dial *110# to send money for free.
Vodafone. The 18th International Building Construction Exhibition 2021 is here again. We bring you exhibitors from all over the world who are the finest in building, construction, interior design, and infrastructure development. A one-stop shop to discover what suits you best from our business prospects during the 3-day event with product, equipment, services, and technologies on display under the theme Targeting Projects. Date 11th to 13th November 2021. Venue Accra International Conference Center. Time 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. This event is organized by Image Consortium Group Limited under the auspices of Ministry of Works and Housing in collaboration with all building professionals. Sponsors Kimo Homes, Interplus, B5 Plus, C Woman. Admission is free for visitors. For more information, contact 0244 321 696 or 0244 312 499 or follow us on all our social media platforms or log on to our website at www.imageconsortiumlimited.com.
It's my house.
This is your business at its best. And this is your business beyond its best. Bar, club, and restaurant owners can now get up to 3 DSTV decoders, all with the same number of channels with a single monthly subscription. For just a small access fee, each additional decoder can be used independently to satisfy the tastes of all your patrons.
Contact 0302-740566 for more enquiries.
Extra View for DSTV Business, your business beyond its best.
And you are live on Joy 99.7 FM. This is Ghana Connect. So this week, Vice President Dr. Bawumia has been touting the digitalization agenda of government. But is Ghana really ready for what has been touted as the fourth industrial revolution? Dr. Bawumia himself asks a few critical questions.
We ask the following questions. How prepared is Ghana to compete in the emerging global digital revolution? Have we got in place the key pillars that would enable our economy to participate in the emerging digital revolution? Is the system we have fit for purpose?
We're connecting some great Ghanaian minds this evening to try and answer a few of the questions Dr. Bamia himself had posed this week. So, as we have read and have heard, Ghana and the rest of the third world largely missed out on 3 industrial revolutions with devastating consequences. Now, here we are again, as the World Economic Forum puts it, on the brink of a technological revolution that will fundamentally alter the way we live, work, and relate to one another. Now, in its scale, they estimate, its scale and scope and complexity, the transformation will be unlike anything humankind has experienced before. Whoever masters this fourth industrial revolution, driven by data and the digital, will bring economic prosperity to its people. The vice president was quite optimistic that the Ghanaian is ready for this new dawn.
And I am excited about the prospects of the nation we are building, the brilliant minds being nurtured who are contributing towards this vision. We must allow our mindset to build our courage that we can be amongst the best in the world at anything. Some of our senior high schools are winning world robotic competitions. The digital revolution is a youth-driven revolution. It is your revolution. And I look forward to all of you playing a role in making our nation great and strong.
So tonight, we ask, do you share the Vice President's optimism? Is Ghana really ready for the digital revolution? You want to join us with your thoughts on this here on Ghana Connect? And connecting the studio, as the Vice President had noted, this is a revolution that will be driven, unlike the ones we saw, the first, second, and the third, by young people. And a few young Ghanaians are joining and connecting with us, both here in the studio and across the digital platforms we have, to have a conversation. I'm delighted to say that connecting in the studio this evening is a founder and CEO of, how do you even call this, Zuela? Is it developer? Say again? Okay, Diva Lopa. Diva Lopa. Okay, that's interesting. I need to go into why developer, because it sounds like I nearly said developer, but of course it's not what it is. Okay, great. We'll get into that. But I'm delighted to hear her because she's an IT. She's with an IT auditing company, also a social enterprise that focuses on girls in ICT. So it's great that she connects with us in the studio. Michael Esando is the Chief Executive Officer of the Omni Strategies. Hello, Michael. Great to have you speaking to the microphone for me.
Yeah.
So you guys do what exactly?
So we're a technology firm, and we build custom software for varying clients, from private to public sector.
Okay.
If you need a technology solution, we're there for you.
Okay. We'll put it to the test when we'll have the conversation right now, Ghana. Margaret is also with B Systems. Hello, Margaret. Great to connect with us here in the studio. Toby Wood. Listen, the Vice President was in the chassis this week because he wanted to tap into the young minds, and Toby is from Ashasi. In fact, he's the student of the Management Information Systems. There studies that, right? Management Information, and he's the SLC president. Are you? Okay, great to have you. Great to have you. So you study digitization. We'll come into what that means because it's been bandied about. So I'll ask you to tell me what the difference. Your lecturer will be listening very shortly. We'll get into that very shortly. Doc, don't worry. I'm not asking you any question yet. But of course, we're also connecting, as we always do, via Zoom tonight. Winifred Coating, co-founder of Superfluids Lab, is also connecting via Zoom. And I'm curious about Superfluids Lab because it's a data analytics company that provides consumer analytics and credit scoring solutions from data with artificial intelligence. You don't get to hear enough of that in Ghana, on the continent. But of course, I'm delighted that he can join us. Winifred, thank you for connecting. He joins us on Zoom. We'll hear him very shortly. connecting the studio, obviously, we'll put a lot of questions to him. Everybody will have questions for him. Dr. Gideon Buak. I don't know why he agreed to subject himself to this, because he's the man who is supervising the policy implementation. We'll ask him a few questions about how to make this wheel run even more smoothly. He's a technical advisor in the Office of the Vice President. Doc, thank you very much for your time. Okay, I can't hear my guests. Please fix it for me. We would hear them very shortly on Ghana Connect. But let me start with that basic question, by the way, because there are a few things we need to get out of the way. And as I said, Toby, I'm going to come to you first.
Yes, please.
Because I've heard these words thrown about this week, right? You were there when the Vice President spoke. Digitization. We mixed the two. Well, what's the difference? You are fresh in school, so maybe you have the very latest on this. Well, what's the difference?
I'd say that I think the reason why I think it's digitizing the economy as the process with which you are converting, right, from maybe physical data to digital data, right? If you're looking at it from that end, you can see that this is the conversion process, right? And I think is digitalization. I'm not too sure, so don't quote me on this, right? Digitalization looks more at business processes and the idea of looking at using the data in a more meaningful way, right? So one is converting from physical to digital, and the other is really just utilizing the data or the digital information as best as you can.
Okay, so I see one as an activity. So I take this hard copy,
Yes.
and then I turn it into a soft.
Precisely.
That's digitization.
Yes, please.
And then one is more systems based.
Yes,
So
exactly.
that is, the whole system of doing something using digital technology.
Yes, please.
Am I right, Zuela?
Yeah, so with digitalization, you can use the keyword like transformation of an organization.
Okay.
So from transforming from a manual way of doing things to an automated way of doing things. So the key word here is transformation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's start with that then. Let's start with that point you make, because you made, Zuela. So transformation. You work in that space.
Yeah.
What's your assessment of where we are as a country? Are we talking about the fourth industrial revolution? We missed out on the three, largely. I mean, in the first industrial revolution, steam engine, third, electricity. We caught up very, very late. Even in Ghana, places that still don't have electricity, right? The third is, the fourth is the building on the third.
Yeah.
Where are we? You work in this space. Where are we in sort of in the journey to fully realizing this fourth industrial revolution?
Okay, so personally, with my experience as an IT auditor, when I go to organizations, it's very rare for you to go to organizations that don't have a software or a system that's transforming their manual processes to the automated processes. And so you realize that even though we don't have a lot of tech savvy people in organizations, when you go there, there is as low as even a human resource management system that takes care of people's business process. We have organizations that use softwares for their financials. And so I will put us at a point where we are like 70% getting there, especially in the urban area like in Accra, because a lot of organizations are really understanding the future of work. And because of the COVID situation and the lockdown, it made us expose some of the uses of technology, from using Zoom for meetings and whatnot. And so
Saying
now,
that, Winifred, is Winifred on Zoom, by the way? Hello, Winifred. Okay.
Hello.
Oh,
Yes,
great.
I'm on Zoom.
Oh, fantastic. Yes, right on cue.
Yeah.
The Zoom is working. I just wanted to check.
Exactly. And so now when you're about to have meetings, even in organizations, people are like, can't we do it on Zoom? Because they realize that they don't want to waste a lot of productivity time into moving to and fro from other places to the other, when they could just connect on their phones or on their laptops to give more insights. And so from the organization point of view, you realize that people are actually embracing technology. I think I'll give us a 70% on that, aside the challenges with maybe internet connectivity and sometimes the high prices of internet charges. But on an individual level, where I train and inspire more girls to get into technology, every day I think I get people reaching out to me and be like, okay, so I want to get into tech. Where do I start from? Regardless of where they are coming from. So I think that this digital transformation that everybody is getting to is we are getting to a point where Ghana is really understanding that the future of work is near. According to the World Forum, in the year 2025, a lot of jobs are going to be disrupted and then new jobs will be created. And so we position ourselves where we can get these jobs. And I think the average Ghanaian is getting to the point where they really understand that, okay, the future is technology. And so in my little way, where do I go from here?
Yeah, I mean, interesting. Michael, what's your story? I mean, based on what she's saying, in terms of the foundation that has been laid, the Vice President was very clear that the foundation has been laid for this takeoff. What's your story? You experience this on the daily basis.
Yes, yeah. So before I begin, I'd just like to correct you that I'm the head of technology.
Oh, head of
CEO.
technology. Okay,
Yes.
not the chief executive.
Yeah.
Okay, you wish. Your boss send you a message? Hey, I haven't checked your phone yet. Okay. Amen. Yes. Before you get into trouble, okay. Share with us what your story has been.
Right. So you're right. I actually started as an engineer, and so I've been working in engineering my entire career, and now I'm a head of technology. And so I've watched as Ghana has changed, slowly transformed into a very unique position. Recently, we had a job fair at our organization, and there were a lot of people that came just to even find out about tech. And so it wasn't just software engineers applying. And it's a trend that we're noticing, especially even from social media. A lot of young folk that are coming out of school are trying to get into tech. And so we're finding ourselves in a position where we have a lot of talent, and all they need now is the opportunity to showcase what they can do. And so that places Ghana in a very unique position where we can capitalize on this industrialization. That's if the right structures are in place. And which is why it's very exciting to hear that at least leadership it has that in the back of their mind, so they're helping lay those structures so we can capitalize on this.
I mean, Margaret, he said something here about the young people coming out of school,
right?
Looking for an opportunity to express
Yes.
themselves in the space.
Yes.
Are the opportunities there?
Yes, I would say 100% the opportunities are there because, again, from a technology point of view, we are having a whole lot of ideas that we are trying to put out there in the market. So out of all these ideas, you have the fintech, we have solutions that are coming out of the fintech. We have, I think the Vice President mentioned the fact that data is now driving technology now. So looking at the fact that we have so much data, there are so much innovative solutions that are coming out. And out of that, one thing that we have realized, in hiring students that are from tech institutions like KNUST and the rest, you realize that the students are not restricted to just what they are taught in the classrooms. They're taking courses on YouTube. They're taking online courses. They're actually building themselves. Some actually venture out of the school, the normal coursework, and start developing applications based on their own ideas. So, and as a company that is into hiring tech savvy students, that is one of the things that we always look out for. How open are you? Are you willing to learn? Are you, going out there to more or less experience or learn about technologies that are actually arriving or are coming out of these new innovative systems that are being put in place. You have artificial intelligence. We have a whole programming language that you need to learn, in order to move into such technology spaces. We have data analytics. So basically, you see that yes, the students are coming, but they are also venturing into other fields that are outside their coursework, and that is very, very interesting.
It's interesting you say that. So what you're actually saying is the Ghanaian youth,
yes,
is showing that they are capable.
Yes.
Beyond what they are taught in the classroom. That's your experience.
Yes, that's our experience.
Okay, let me ask that because is that your experience too, honestly?
Yes, that is my experience.
Because often the criticism has been that a typical Ghanaian student comes out of school and can't fit. You say your experience in the tech area is different.
Exactly.
Okay. Let me bring in Winifred on this. Winifred, you also work in the same space. Is that your own story too? That your own experience?
Yes, very much so. I think for me and for our experience as a data analytics company, because that field is very new, still being developed, our challenge is the absence of enough problems to be solved with data analytics. For these very eager students who are coming out of school to get practical experience. So if you take a typical software engineering, it's really easy for you to think of a problem in your community, in the society, or in an industry you're familiar with, and start creating a solution for that. But it's not the case for data analytics. With data analytics, you need data, and the data must be digitized data, so that you would be able to work with. And then you need to be able to put that into test and then prove that what you've done works, actually solves the problem, especially when it comes to artificial intelligence. So for us, what we have a lot of students coming through is the desire to look for practical experience working with data analytics. So for the eagerness, I agree with Margaret and everyone else, is very high, very, very high. They are so eager, they're actually looking to solve meaningful problems with the knowledge and the skills they're learning.
Toby, you are in school.
Yes.
You're almost out of school, I guess.
Yes, in my final year.
Final year. You're looking forward to engaging this this fourth industrial revolution, because as Bamia has said, this is about you. You feel capable, you feel ready.
I actually do feel ready, simply because, I mean, Ashesi is a great space, especially if you're moving into computer science or tech related opportunities. But I think one of the reasons why it's a great space is because how do I put it? You see a lot of people who are actively trying to get somewhere, right? The tech is not such a limited field that whatever you're taught is what you're limited to, right? Most of the people who are programmers or people who are looking to go into some form of tech are very familiar with the issues around tech, meaning that you're trying to build an application or you're trying to get something, you go online, find there's a whole tech community who's ready to support you with solutions and ideas, and it makes you excited to really push that forward. So going out of Ashesi or going out of a school system, I know that I can very easily apply myself where I need to, because there's infinite amounts of information online, right? There's so many courses that you can take and so many opportunities that you can work from remotely that makes you feel somewhat prepared, at the very least, to learn what you have to be able to do what you need to.
Okay. I mean, Dr. Gideon, so the Vice President was clear that the foundation has been laid for this. There's a general consensus that some work definitely has happened. And talking about the opportunities, what are you picking off of this conversation?
Yeah, I think if you listen to Winifred well, from the data analytics point of view, you get a sense that there is so much work to be done, but it must start from somewhere. The data must be there in a digital form for the data analytics person to use that data. Now, if you come to our setting and our setup, the opportunities are so enormous because we still have a chunk of data that are not in digital form.
Yeah.
It's just of going to school to study forestry, and you're put at a place which has desert land. They have a lot of work to do because you have to plant so many trees. Yeah. So in our setup, sitting back and working with the Vice President, he sees such a huge opportunity out there, because we live in an economy that is largely informal. Things are not digitized. Things are not in a form that you can sit with your computer and work with. So you see that we need a large mass of young people who are IT savvy to come into proffer solutions. You see, the market is there. You just need to create the solution. Once you create the solution, you have the raw materials to work with. And the raw material is the analog data. Okay, the analog data is, there are some of the data that we've not even thought about how to create them. You know, when I was exiting from my PhD program, my professor had begun something to set up a data center. And there's one professor who was using that. And you realize that there are so many data within our system that we have not even identified. Then come to think of transforming it from the analog form to the digital form. So there's so much work to be done. That is why the creativity of our young people come to bear. Where we are starting from, people knowing that the Vice President is so much interested in IT, you get a lot of proposals coming from the young people. And some of them, when you open them and you read, you say, wow, so this can offer a solution to the problem we have. Sometimes you doubt, because I'm not an IT person. Sometimes when I read some of them and I listen to them, I ask them, are you sure this can solve the problem? And truly they are able to solve the problem. Look at the gentleman who developed the medical e-pharmacy app to help people identify medicine. Hayford met RS. The vice president went for the annual general meeting, the Ghana Pharmaceutical Council or something, and he made a presentation. The vice president called him to his office. Said, look, talk to me about this. And the way the guy explained that thing, the vice president could not but to stand up for the person. Said, look, this is going to work. And that is how come, as a government, we decided that let us do this e-pharmacy thing. So the young people know the problems out there. They just need the platform and the opportunities to be created for them. And they also have to see that the work that they are into is supported by government. If you have a government that is not interested in digitization and IT, no matter how loud you sing, it doesn't sink. Leave them, youthful exuberance, and they say all their political things and they let you go. But I'm so much inspired that we now see to have a political leadership that is interested in this, and then we have a teeming youthful population of the country that are also so creative and determined to cause an effect and to do something new. And I think we need to encourage that, because there are so many problems in this country which can be solved if we are able to get data. If we cannot measure anything, you can't manage it. So this economy and everything that we're talking about, an immeasurable economy, is unmanageable. Because if you cannot measure, how do you manage it properly and to benefit everybody? And that is why we're so passionate. This is the future of work. That is Hajia said. This is where the world is moving to. We've moved beyond third industrial revolution, IT, fourth industrial revolution, combination of IT, biological sciences, and the physical sciences, and that is the way we need to go.
You talked about something. I want to bring in Zulaiha on this. You talk about support for the sector. Is the support there?
So the support, I think we will talk about it in like two different aspects. So when we talk about the capacity building support, I think that we are at a verge where there's an upspring of a lot of hubs where they are focused on training more people into tech. And when we talk about tech, we are not limiting to just coding, but other aspects of tech. We have digital marketing, content creation, and all that. And so I think the support for the education and capacity building from that aspect is there. But when it comes to startups, people having access to funding, people having access to the resources to help them properly understand where they're going. So I have an idea, but how then do I take it from ideation to growth? When we talk about those aspects, I think that we are a bit behind, even though according to statistics, we are having a lot of investors come into the country, especially in areas of health tech and fintech. There's an outspring of people actually investing in these areas in technology. I think that the native or the ordinary Ghanaian who comes up with an idea does not have the proper skill to actually structure the company very well. I think I faced that even personally when I was starting the organization. Understanding how the ecosystem works or the business ecosystem works, structuring my company, being able to access funding to actually help what I'm doing or grow what I'm doing is a bit behind. I think that's an area where we can look at, and also the support from the starting from the grassroots. IT tools from the grassroots. It's now that I after I heard the Vice President, Excellency Vice President was talking about getting tablets to organizations and schools to help students really learn these things. But most of the students, when you go to the classrooms, they only know tech through textbooks. Most of them don't have access to computers or IT tools in class. So they grow just knowing tech on paper till they get to a particular stage, and then they have access to maybe a mobile phone. But then, because you don't really understand the benefits of some of these tools, they might be using the phone to do other things. Like the statistics that came out to show where Ghanaians really search on the web. It was appalling to see that Google was #1, even though YouTube was there. We learned from YouTube. But most of them were flooded with betting sites and explicit content websites. And so you understand that the support is there when it comes to growing up and then capacity building when it comes to the hub system. People have opportunities to walk into a hub and get training for free. I think the support is there a bit for business, but there's still a lot to look out for. But then I think the important one is going back to the classroom, practical STEM and practical tech education in the classrooms. They need to appreciate what IT can do from infancy. So as they are growing, their mind is, okay, so if I can do this on the computer, then maybe I could do this. I can try that.
Toby, you agree?
Yes, I strongly agree with what she's saying over here, because one of my personal views on the entire thing, right, is do we have the facilities to educate the Ghanaian community to a point where they can appreciate what is happening, right? Because I think I've been reading online and I realized that there seems to be a little bit of a disconnect between where we want to go and how we are going to get there, right? We do not necessarily have all the facilities in place. We do not necessarily have the mindset that is completely ready for a digital revolution. And in order to get there, we need to focus severely on the how. And I don't even think it's a matter of just educating. I think it's really just pushing forth the support, as Doctor was mentioning, the government support. If the youth is aware, and when I say aware, like truly aware that the government is ready and able to support you with these ideas, you'll take off with your curiosity. You take off with your excitement because people want to get projects done. I know so many young minds in and out of Ashesi and Legon, KNUST, other schools are across, even high schools, for instance, with people who have ideas and projects that they're willing to start, but it ends at a school level because they don't know if they can take this further. So one of the beautiful things that I realized from the conversation with the Vice President at Ashesi is that the government is willing to support us, and they're willing to tell us how they're going to support us. That kind of access to information, that kind of transparency, I feel is going to generate the kind of mindset that we're looking for, to get people to really just say, you know what, I'm going to try something and I'm going to push it forward because I know that there's a support system in place.
Yeah, right? I mean, I want to bring Winifred because of she's in the artificial intelligence area. I mean, all of you, very interesting things you do, but it always fascinates me. I wonder, in a country like Ghana, how would, for example, as we've been talking, the support for that? People, I don't understand what it is still. I have my phone. The only thing I appreciate about it is when I'm taking a picture, I have an AI function that says AI, and it identifies the food, and I take the photo. But Winifred, I mean, what has been your experience with that? We've been talking about the support. There's a sense that, yes, the government is willing at least to listen and to help. But you're dealing in the area of artificial intelligence. Even that area, I believe, even in the West, is still a developing field. Let more for a country like Ghana, where we're really not there yet in terms of the most high tech of things. What's your take on this?
I think that's an interesting question. That's actually very exciting for us to look at and to speak about. Why? Because if you are catching up, there's no need starting from all the steps that your predecessors used. If you can actually move to step number 5 or step number 10 in the process. And so it is really key that we look at taking advantage of artificial intelligence fully across multiple facets of our needs as an economy, our needs as a country, and to serve various issues and to tackle the various areas of challenges. And I'll say this I'm quite excited about this because about 2 years ago at the first Ghana Data Science Summit, I had opportunity to be a keynote speaker, and one of the areas I cited as places of use of data analytics and artificial intelligence was around healthcare and predicting disease and monitoring disease spread. And interestingly, I gave some use cases of things happening in other countries. And interestingly, when COVID happened, that was exactly what the nation did. We took advantage of data. We're able to show how diseases, the COVID virus was spreading, and then case counts and recoveries and all of those, and provided a lot of assurance to the population. Everyone woke up and they went there to get information. In fact, the vaccines have come out, and I'm expecting to see where the centers are going to be, where the vaccines are going to be distributed, how people are going to be vaccinated. All of that information and data points captured and also shared to help in that facet. So when it comes to application of artificial intelligence, application of data analytics, I actually think that we don't need to wait. We need to start taking advantage of that. And now that we have a lot of the enabling levers established, the addressing system, the profiles of individuals through the Ghana card, I believe we are a very good place to start looking at taking advantage of analytics, start taking advantage of predictive analytics, artificial intelligence to tell what else we can be doing. How do we address the systemic challenges? How do we help match services to the areas that they are needed most? And then how do we measure impact? And then see how the interventions are giving us the results needed or iterating till we find the solutions and the results that we are looking for. So I'm actually quite excited, and I hope that we are not looking at going step 1, step 2, step 3 approach in terms of using advanced technologies such as artificial intelligence. I was actually making a joke earlier on this week that people have moved to metaverse, and what is that? It's still a technology tool. So
I am lost. What did you say?
You are not alone, Evans.
I am completely. What did you say? Meta. What's that?
Metaverse.
You can't be lost. You can't be lost. So we need to take advantage of the technologies as they are happening, so that we don't waste time trying to play catch up, because we have the enabling systems. And one of the things about digital technologies is that it's not it doesn't need to rely on other things. So for instance, if you take oil as a driver of an economy, you need to have oil. Okay, for digital technologies, what do we need? We need connectivity, we need access to devices. And in our setting, the mobile phone is one of the main devices with connectivity that most of the population would have. We have a lot of those things. That's infrastructure built. So we just need to capitalize on that and progress very fast.
Okay, Gideon, please address the support question for me that had come up. The support that is there for.
So the support can be in varied ways. One way is, of course, financial support. And
I guess it appears to be the main one. Am I reading it right?
I'm not too sure it being the main one.
Okay.
It is one of them. Then also support in terms of government leading policy and making sure that the basic systems are put in place, like Winifred was talking about. I mean, you may have to ride on the back of systems like getting a national ID in place, getting a digital property address system in place, and then also if it is a fintech, getting the payment system architecture well designed such that it can be easy for people to make payments across board and all of that. So these are the kinds of things that government must focus and provide. As you engage the guys in the IT field, they're also able to come up with solutions that can link up with the systems government is creating to make sure the enabling environment is created for them. So government, if you look at the focus, I wouldn't be surprised that in the shortest possible time or very soon, government may design a policy as to how best we can resource those in the technology sector with capital and other means that they can be able to thrive.
I see a few smiley faces.
Yeah, so that is the whole thing.
Please, this is not political talk, right?
Oh, Evans, there's no way government would decide to take such an audacious step to inspire the technology giants and the people in the technology field and decide to leave them just like that. You need to find better means of making sure that especially those who are startups are able to get what they need to get to be able to thrive with it. It's also a competitive world, you understand. They are not just competing within Ghana, they are competing with other companies outside the country, because Ghana is also open that if there is a solution that must be provided to solve a problem in this country, so not only Ghanaian companies that can bid for whatever contract is, others can come from outside. I remember when we wanted to do the digital property addressing system, a lot of international companies came and put in the bid. Thankfully, a Ghanaian company got it. So they are competing globally. And so they also have to get the kind of resources that they need to get to be able to, pick up well and then become globally competitive. And so government is very mindful of that. And that is why you see leadership and policy direction coming from government through the Minister for Communications, and also supported by the central government, President, Vice President office, making sure that we drive this kind of digitization. All of these guys within the fintech and the IT industry are people that we work closely with. I remember 2 or 3 years ago when the Vice President was going to Silicon Valley, we went with a couple of these guys, and it was so much of an interest to see that the Ghanaian IT, the private IT sector is equally competitive. The kind of knowledge that the guys at Silicon Valley, have, they equally have the same knowledge. They just need the resources. They just need the support and the systems to be in place for them to function. And I think that is exactly what we're trying to do. Have that collaboration with the private sector and make sure that we drive our IT sector to the level where we can also become a toast of the
Michael.
So I wanted to say about the support. You'd be amazed by the talent that Ghana has. That are working in pick any top tech firm in the world. They are there. Like the Adam Kumaji, Stefan Fowlish, Joe Darko. They are doing great work. These are Ghanaians. And they could be working in the country, right? But previously, the support wasn't there. So maybe there's a software, right, that you can build. You can build. But you may apply for it. You may pitch it. And it just, I think like Doc said, it just say, oh, this is just youthful exuberance, or it gets shut down. It's great to hear something like the e-pharmacy came from someone that had a pitch. They spoke about the software and it kicked off. Now, if the country has this support in mind, right, they are encouraging local engineers or even the foreign ones to come back, and they know that once they are going to deliver solutions, it's not going to be thrown away. We are going to have a lot of talent back in the country, because that's one of the things that I've noticed. Once engineers reach a certain level, they realize that, well, why am I still in the country? What am I still doing here? At some point, I also thought about that, but I chose to stay and then share my knowledge with the younger engineers so I can help them become the...
You wanted to go abroad?
Well, it was an easy option.
Okay.
It was an easy option.
So what made you stay?
From a young age, I've always wanted to do something to help. I think everyone has always wanted to do something great. And at some point, you look at the local salaries and the local environment, and the foreign environment is absolutely great. Before I joined Omni Strategies, I was at Andela. And Andela is a hiring company that supplies talent to US and other Western countries. And joining that company, I realized that my skills were on par, or sometimes even better than a lot of the international talent out there. And so it would have been easy for me to apply to another company. So for example, in tech, we call the FANG, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. It would be easy for me to apply there with my skills, but then I decided to stay. Because if someone like this young man here...
Yeah, Toby.
Yeah, Toby, sorry, wants to learn how to use the cloud. So for example, my company, we heavily focus on the cloud, and we use a lot of...
By the way, if you're listening to it, it's not the cloud that rained tonight.
That is how some of us would think.
Yeah, that's what I used to think 10 years ago until I got it. So you're saying Ghanaians are doing great things in this space?
Yes.
Let me bring in Margaret. Margaret, you are in that space. You are a tech firm.
Yes.
Is it a wholly owned Ghanaian tech firm?
Yes, a wholly owned.
So the question when I was listening to Doc, I wanted to ask you is, the Vice President listed a lot of things that they've done. E-pharmacy, the hospital linkage, Ghana.gov, the passports, all about it. Yeah. How much of that are Ghanaians able to go in that space and deliver?
Yes, I would speak from a 14 years experience. And we started by digitizing the voter ID 14 years back. So whenever you walk into any banking institution, you're able to present your voter's ID. And over that 14 years, we've been able to add the other 3, which is driver's license, SNIT, as well as the passport. So given any of these ID documents, you can walk into any bank and you're able to present it, and you are able to get some type of financial, service done. Aside that, the reason why we are probably in the space is also because we have helped over 10 African countries currently. Wow. Yes.
So you've exported your skills from Ghana to
Yes.
to 10 African countries.
Exactly.
So you are a multinational,
Yes, we are a multinational company.
a
Yes.
Ghanaian multinational company.
Exactly.
Ah.
Tech firm that is competing on a global race with all other IT firms. And what we have specialized in is developing collateral registry systems for central banks across 10 African countries. So yes, I think when Ghanaians are given the opportunities, I mean, the sky is just the starting point, you know. We can go far and beyond and be able to compete with innovative solution on an international level.
And Evans, you were asking whether or not they are able to do a lot of the things the Vice President talked about and we're doing in Ghana.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how many of the things you said you've done with digitization has been done by Ghanaians?
I think almost all the things the Vice President said are done by Ghanaians.
Okay.
Yeah, and he mentioned it. For instance, if we take the Ghana.gov, when we decided to do the Ghana.gov, it's also part of the ways government is seeking to support the IT guys. The Vice President and government decided, let's put a consortium of some of these IT guys together to do the Ghana.gov. So the Ghana.gov was done, executed, designed by Ghanaian.
A consortium.
Yeah, a consortium.
So we put a few of them together
put
to
a
do
few
this.
of
Okay.
a few of them together, especially those that the Vice President went to Silicon Valley with. We put a few of them together, and they delivered. Okay, the Ghana Post GPS, Ghanaians, the ECG app, Ghanaians. I mean, almost all the things we are doing, we are doing with Ghanaian ICT firms.
I'm really impressed by B Systems. It's rarely would you hear a Ghanaian multinational. So I guess the question I ask then is, how much of an impact do you feel you're making then in this space?
I believe we have made a lot of impact.
Okay.
Impact, when I say a lot, that's because I don't want to quantify it.
Yeah.
Because the impact is immeasurable. And it's immeasurable in the sense that when you look at what is exactly driving, you know, identity verification when it comes to how we used to do it, you know, over the past 14 years, which has driven even SIM registration, has driven mobile money registration, and across a lot of sectors. Now, fintechs, it's a requirement. You have to meet KYC mandate. And how do you meet KYC mandate? How do you meet your know your customer mandate if you're not able to uniquely identify who you are dealing with? So again, I'll say our impact is immeasurable because the way technology works, you start small, and by the time you realize it has a lot of impact on so many individuals, so many businesses, so many sectors, and it just keeps on spreading, and it keeps on breeding other new innovative solutions.
Let me bring in Winifred. Winifred, how are you competing with the rest of the world? Like, the thing about the digital space is that it really brings home the global village concept, because everything you do, everybody else is doing it or doing it better somewhere. And so you're maybe in Ghana, but you're competing with the rest of the world. How are you competing with the rest of the world for a Ghanaian firm in this space?
Okay, I think for us, one of the unique things about us is, one, we provide solutions that a lot of other enterprises do not provide, especially on the continent. And we've also had the opportunity to work with several enterprises across the continent, actually serving multiple businesses within Africa. So when it comes to a subject or an industry like data analytics, a lot of the technologies are unique to the data environment in that particular space. So one of the big ways that we are different, or we have a big competitive advantage, is we have specialized in the ability to work with multiple types of data. So if we take something like credit risk scoring, which is something we do very well, we were just the best data analytics and credit risk scoring in 2020 for Africa. One of the reasons why we got that is that we're able to help build credit risk scoring and profiles for farmer data, for general commerce, for fintech, for financial services. We're able to do that, and that is because we've specialized in our environment. The data points are different. Unlike in other spaces where you have the credit card, which is the predominant decision or enabler of lending, in Africa, we don't have that. We don't have that yet. So ability to build skills that enables you to work with the local environment and deliver results from the local system has been one of the things that has made us more successful than others who want to come into the space.
Toby, let me bring you in here. There's something that Michael said there that caught my attention. He says he nearly left the shores for greener pastures. You're about finishing school.
Yes.
Do you see your future in this space here?
I will be real with you. I do and I don't, right? Prior to the conversation with the Vice President, I wasn't certain if Ghana was going to rally and move into this space. And I know it seems very convenient, but then quite literally after this, the session that we had, I actually began to think about it. I began to talk with some of my friends about it, because there's so many opportunities and ideas that we have, even like the Yeshasi capstone projects and things that we're doing, okay? And the aim for most Ghanaians is to fly abroad and, you know, head over to a new space and greener pastures, right? But I think something that I think I share with my friend over here, Michael, is that I always wanted to do something to contribute. I always wanted to do something to help the space that we're in, to make Ghana the place that people want to come to. And this is actually one of the best opportunities to do so. When Margaret was speaking, something that caught my eye was the idea of a global community, but also focusing on Afrocentric or like a Ghanaian tech community that is accessible to any and everybody. If we have some open source platforms available for some of the projects like the Ghana.gov and the other initiatives that are being put forward, we can really look at getting the excitement and keeping the people here, because we see that there's excitement to see. How do I put it? For most programmers or most people in tech, we thrive on problems.
Yeah.
Like, we really do want to solve problems and want to see how good we are, want to see if we're able to really match up with the ideas that we have in our heads. Being able to do that in Ghana and have the support and the celebration, right, that doesn't often come to people in tech, or at least in Ghana anyways, would be a fantastic starting point. And I think it's the start of getting more people like me, more people who are in tech or young, who are thinking of where would my skills be best utilized. It will be the best way to get them here. Really pushing forth an open source community, working on government issues or working on national level projects. I think that's where.
So you said something that struck me. So you're saying that something that the Vice President said to you changed your mind.
Yes.
Sort of focused your mind to staying here. What was it? What was it that flipped the switch?
I think the realization came when I saw the presentation on the Ghana card and the integration of all of the services into that one card. I've never seen that before. You fly out of the country, you go anywhere, you have to present different kinds of ID, and some places don't even allow you to show a screenshot or a scan of your document. You have to bring the physical copy. I'm just like, if I have this one card, I have access to so many things in one place. And I was just like, it quite literally blew my mind, because using this card as your national passport, using this card to have all of your data, when he was speaking, I downloaded the Ghana.gov app, put in my national card details in there, and immediately saw my name pop up, and I was immediately excited. I was like, something is actually happening, and I haven't been able to see this because I didn't know about it.
You thought you were in the heavens.
I was
You are in Ghana.
It was so interesting to see. Like, it didn't take 2 seconds. Like, it immediately came up. I saw my information, I saw my details, and I was like, wow, something is actually being done. I want to help make this a reality for so many people. I think that was the point. When I saw the integration of everything, I was like, we have the potential, or we are at the crux of making something really amazing in the country that we're living in. And Ashesi students, Legon students, any student, whether you're a student or not, right, in terms of the youth in general, we really have the power to jump onto this, to really push forward and support this, to move Ghana into an entirely new age. And if we realize that now with these conversations that we're having, and we push forward for like serious structure towards open source systems, we can actually make that happen. So
there's a point that Zuela, you raised it that I want to bring up now. One of the key challenges to this fully actualizing, the OECD talks about it, the ensuring adequate access to high-speed internet, but also affordable. I must add, because in a place like this, it's important. Quickly, I need you guys to tell me how much of a problem this is to this what we are talking about becoming fully actualized in a country like Ghana. You work in the space. How much of a problem is this?
So it's especially a huge problem for my firm because we are heavily in the cloud. So if we have internet issues,
he keeps mentioning the cloud.
Yeah.
cutting off the line. So essentially the cloud is using infrastructure, leveraging on powerful giant infrastructure to deliver solutions.
Yeah.
And so we don't have physical servers.
I mean, but bottom line, when you take a picture, where it stores is the
yes.
cloud. That's all. That's all.
So internet has become like a very important infrastructure actually for us.
It's almost like the raw material.
Yes.
The raw material base for everything else we've talked about, right?
So building, researching, deploying, anything you can think of, the internet is a backbone. And I found speaking to young engineers, sometimes when I speak and I tell them what I do, they get excited. And then they now have to go and research on it. Now, if you don't have access or affordable internet, they can't research on it. Then you'll be relying on copying videos, and sometimes it limits someone from the huge let's say sea of information that is the internet. And so if we could lower the cost of internet or have internet more accessible, because I think something that we
not
take
just
for
in the
granted-
country, I must admit, high speed internet.
High-speed.
I mean, the 4G is not. Zuel, I want to bring it. 4G that we have, it's really not 4G, is it? I mean, we all experienced it. I mean, give me your experience. You work with the girls in the place. Affordability is key, but also sometimes you're just loading a page, and it's like buffering and buffering. That clearly is an issue, isn't it?
It is. Honestly, in the past 3 months, I've just been complaining bitterly because as easy as they're even joining online is a problem. So you are teaching online or you're having a conversation online and somebody just goes off. And Zoom has a weird thing when somebody goes up. It's like the way is like giving you signals and alarming. You see how people are dropping off and joining in,
At
dropping
a rapid
off.
rate.
Yeah. So it just shows you how a lot of people keep on saying that I have problems with my internet. I have problems with my internet. It's a huge problem because I also believe that a girl in the village can come up with the best IT firm. It can compete with the Microsoft or the FANG, as we put it. But the only way this girl can have that is if she has access to internet and a technological device. And so the internet is like the center of everything that we are talking about.
Okay, so let me ask him because of time. I was going to ask him that question, so please ask him the question for me.
Evans,
No. Let her ask the question.
you're not going to put me in trouble.
Okay, please ask him the question for me. Ask him the question.
Okay, so personally, I don't know.
I'll attempt to answer what I can answer.
Ask him the question for me.
Giving tablets to students in remote areas. I read about the fact that we've given some teachers also modems and everything. But then how are we curbing the access to internet connectivity, and how are we leveraging with some of these telcos to actually minimize the cost of these internets? Because
I think the first question about how are we making internet available, especially for students, the Vice President mentioned yesterday, we've so far been successful in connecting all senior high schools and making internet available to them for free, because we think that's the basics. I mean, they must be exposed to the internet right from the high school time before they move to the universities. I think there are plans to also get internet available to the universities. Some of the universities are connected so far. So government is making internet available to senior high schools, making it available to the universities. And even for some senior high schools, in order to make learning easy for them, we have this something that we call the iBus, which doesn't use internet but offers them the opportunity to have access to some library materials that are digital. And so that is what government is doing in that space. And with respect to getting the telcos to bring down the cost of internet, is a conversation that I think government is always having with the telcos. During the pandemic era, the president and government had some negotiations with them, and they were able to do something about it. And so it's an unending pursuit that government will continue to do. But right from the senior high school to the university level, making sure we provide internet to people. And then not just the internet, the device is also important, such that teachers can have access to the laptops, and then students can also have access to the computers or smartphones or whatever to be able to use and apply their knowledge very well. So it's something that we've started from somewhere. We believe we've not been able to get to where we want to get to, but at least there's good faith shown by government, and we need to continue.
I want to end with Toby. I started with Toby. I end with Toby. Toby, so I guess you are the future of this. What does the future look for you when you look in the crystal ball of the digital revolution for Ghana? Everything that you know so far, what will be your Ghanaian dream? What would it look like?
Man, that's a powerful question.
Talk like Barack Obama.
and you really have a minute to state this.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I see a citizen-centric solution whereby Ghanaians are actively putting themselves on the line to make this country an amazing place. Starting from initiatives from the government, I see a government that is looking to support, right, all the people who are looking to help, and not just even in tech, right, in any capacity. I think it's just the idea of a shared community, right, where we can really actively I mean, the words are not even coming, man. just supporting each other and building what we want to see. I think that's all I see. I see Ghanaians building exactly what we want to see, so we don't have to go anywhere for it.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you all for connecting. Michael, Azuela, Toby, Margaret, and of course Winifred, who joins us via Zoom. Doc, I'm grateful that you connected. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Oh, of course, and we've been live on Facebook Live also. We're talking about digitalization. How can we not be on Facebook Live? Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you, guys.